the Vedavyasa Priya Maharaj is an initiating spiritual master in our movement, and very, very fortunate to have his association. I would say that I'm really touched by how Maharaj personally takes care of the devotees. I happened to be there in Vrindavan, so one day morning I just happened to go without taking his permission, and I just reached his home. Maharaj was in a class, and Maharaj came out of the class, and guess what? Maharaj made a small breakfast for me and gave. That was Dwadashi. Today is Trayadashi. That was Dwadashi. Very nice bhel puri. I have never had such tasty bhel puri which Maharaj made and gave me. I should have been serving Maharaj, but Maharaj actually gave me, and I think that Dwadashi was fruitful. So nice, lovingly Maharaj takes care of the devotees. And actually, we have been very fortunate to have the association of some of Maharaj's disciples like Revati Nandan Prabhu, Gita Gamya Mataji, Jagannatheshwari Mataji, who are also part of this Gita Gyan program. So thank you, Maharaj, for taking some time out. Maharaj is currently actually in Vrindavan usually, but Maharaj is now in Kerala. And Maharaj, these audiences are first timers. As I said, they just completed 18 days of Gita Gyan course. So if you could inspire all of us to read more Bhagavad Gita, that will be kind of you, Maharaj. Thank you, Maharaj.
Om Jnanatimmirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshul Militanyena Tasmai Sri Guruve Namaha. Shri Chaitanya Manobishtam Sthapitam Jena Bhutale Swayam Rupakadamahem Dadati Swapadantikam Vandeham Shri Guru Shri Jata Padakamalam Shri Gurun Vaishnavamsya Sri Rupam Sagra Jatam Sahagana Raghunatham Tam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sahitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padan Sahagana Lalita Shri Vishakhamritamscha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandho Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Manasate Tapta Kanchan Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sati Devi Pranamanu Shri Hari Priya Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Namaham Vishnupadaya Krishna Pristhaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Swami Mitnamne Namaste Saraswate Deve Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Samyavadi Paschatya Desatarine Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadhar Shivasadi Gaur Bhakta Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Ram 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 Hare Hare. Jai. It's a lifetime opportunity to study Bhagavad Gita as it is. Srila Prabhupada declared that there may be 500 different kinds of editions of Bhagavad Gita where the author has, or the translator has, injected his own opinion without touching what Krishna is conclusively telling to the readers, by making Arjuna an example to teach the Bhagavad Gita. What is applicable to Arjuna is applicable to each and every student of Bhagavad Gita. Let me tell you how Srila Prabhupada was so much distinguishable from the other so-called scholars and learned impersonalists, especially those who do not believe in Krishna, but they believe in some unexplainable energy which can be perceived through development of knowledge. They are called impersonalists. So there was a famous impersonalist almost during the same time and preaching in Mumbai, in Powai, is Swami Chinmayananda. Many of you might have heard of his name. And at that time, one of his students happened to stay near Chupati, and his father was a very big industrialist, so he sent his son to Harvard and become a graduate and come and take over his industrial empire. Of course, after his father passed away, his mother was a pious Vaishnava devotee. So, seeing Srila Prabhupada, she invited Prabhupada in her home. And at that time, this Narendra Desai, he was very obsessed to, get educated from Harvard in English. And so therefore he chose to understand the piety which was his father was carrying through study of Bhagavad Gita with Swami Chinmayananda. And he would go and get admired because he was speaking in high English. And this Narendra came home and saw Srila Prabhupada at his home. The mother was entertaining him and asking all the benedictions that she wanted in her life by worshipping Krishna. And Prabhupada was very pleased. So this Narendra Desai was very intrigued that, oh, here is also Prabhupada speaking of Bhagavad Gita. Okay, but let me try to check him out thoroughly. So he would want to understand from Chinmayananda about one particular sloka. So he asked him during the day and come back and ask Srila Prabhupada the same question, and Prabhupada would answer completely differently. And he was impressed that Prabhupada's answers were not superfluous, knowledge-based, but rather an experience-based, realized-based on the subject matter of Bhagavad Gita. And especially, he ends up with the bhakti as the supremost occupation and better than empiric knowledge. So he would come with Prabhupada one sloka to make specific understanding, and he will bring that same sloka to Chinmayananda and understand. So he was able to make a gulf of difference between the two understandings. One is a practical realization, another is only a mental titillation or understanding through only the cerebral hemisphere, the brain. So some of his students, wanted, they were friends of Narendra Desai. He also started, said, look, there is a great difference here. So let's go and check it out. So they came to meet Srila Prabhupada in Juhu Mandir, in the Juhu temple. They arrived and Narendra Desai introduced the student as they are also the students of Bhagavad Gita. And Srila Prabhupada humbly asked them, so what is the conclusion of Bhagavad Gita? And they started scratching their heads. Nobody has ever asked about the conclusion, and how come this Swami is asking? So nobody could answer, but one of the senior devotees they had in between, he tried to say, oh, Guru Maharaj, we do not know. So far, we have never come up to the conclusion. We read every day, and every day there is a different meaning. How many times we must have studied Bhagavad Gita, like chewing the chew, but actually chewing the chew, there is no juice. But yet they want to chew up. So Prabhupada heard this and he became very enraged. He thumped his fist on the desk and made such a sound as if, they got startled and said, who said there is no conclusion of Bhagavad Gita? In the 9th chapter, 18th chapter, it has been said 2 times Then manmana bhava mad bhakto madhyaji mam namaskaro mame vaishyasi satyam te pratijani priyosi me. Become absorbed in my thoughts. Become my devotee. Offer obeisances to me. You will enter into my consciousness. Because you are very dear to me. And Sarva dharmana parityajya mam ekam sharanam vraja. Give up all these mental occupations of belief systems of this or that and just surrender to me. Is it not conclusion? And really, they were completely threatened. So some started saying, "Oh, Swamiji, we just came for your darshan." So Swamiji said, "Did you have my darshan?" Okay, Narendra, give them some prasad and let them go. So that is the crux. The students are telling that there is no conclusion. And Prabhupada is teaching, conclusion is there. But they don't have eyes because they have no desire to surrender to the person of Lord Shri Krishna, the Supreme Personality of Godhead, just like Arjuna surrendered to Lord Krishna. They don't want to be Arjuna. They think either they can become knowledgeable of Krishna, and by assuming that position, they will become gurus, Jagat gurus, and whatnot. Or otherwise, they will get benefit of all material privileges a guru will have. They wanted to make their life easy by studying Bhagavad Gita without any conclusion. So this is the greatest disservice the impersonalist, Mayavadi, and others are doing. And Prabhupada is warning. Why? Because he wants to save us from their, confusions. The clear verdict has been given by Krishna himself. And we have to submit to him in all humility and perform favorable devotional service to him, right? So, you are the future of the Sankirtan movement because you are studying, and you will be definitely empowered to preach all over the world. There is no doubt about it. Why do you want to restrict only to some intellectuals who think they can understand the deeper philosophy by word jugglery? We don't need them. They have done this greatest disservice. So therefore, it becomes our obligation in Krishna Consciousness movement to study and preach simultaneously. Whatever you have learned, if you do not preach, that knowledge will become rusted. It will not salvage you and will not salvage others. So this is a great opportunity. You have studied an 18-day course on Srimad Bhagavad Gita, maybe in very, quick fixer, but the message remains very loud and clear. Chant Hare Krishna. If you cannot make anybody chant Hare Krishna in their life, then your life will be considered waste. But anyone who chanting Hare Krishna Mahamantra is empowered by the Lord because he becomes his dearmost devotee. And this empowerment certainly takes effect. And this is how ISKCON has been, contributing to the consciousness of, or the psyche of the common people all over the world into Krishna consciousness. And this is a great service, better than bodily patching up service for time being, roti kapda makan, what they call it. It is better to uplift somebody's soul and make him dear to Lord Krishna. So I'm praying that your learning will not be going to wane if you keep on serving the Lord through study, through chanting and spreading the glories of the Lord. Empower. The empowerment comes from Hare Krishna Mahamantra. And the same Hare Krishna Mahamantra, when it is given to somebody successfully, then he will be empowered to carry out further. This is how the movement is spreading. And it is completely transcendental process. What they call process of Krishna consciousness is not of this world. This consciousness is imported through the Hare Krishna Mahamantra, like Golokera Premadherna Harinam Sankirtan. It has been imported, Harinam Sankirtan has been imported from Golok Vrindavan to this material platform in order to spiritualize or dematerialize the entire world. So, everybody will become benefit and become the object of pleasure of Lord Krishna. So devotional life is so much sublime. You cannot purchase it anywhere, or don't wait for your old age to practice. Practice right away, because you are very fortunate soul to get the primary understanding of Bhagavad Gita in this 18-day course. And I pray that you flourish, you increase the sadhana of chanting, following 4 regulative principles, and just reminiscent the instructions of Lord Krishna and apply them in our life. Krishna guarantees there is no hard and fast rules, but the performance of the stage-wise or according to the instructions given by the instructing spiritual masters will certainly develop into the practical experiences called pratyaksha avagamam dharmyam susukham kartum avyayam. Is pleasant to be performed if you take up the process systematically as given by our predecessor acharyas, the 6 Goswamis, like that, and follow the sadhana process, and you will be benefited that the result of becoming spiritual become inexhaustible and ever pleasant. It is forever, nothing to lose. So please understand the benefits of Bhagavad Gita, and you must be familiar with the Mahatmya of Bhagavad Gita. Read. It is a conclusive statement of the sages, including Shankaracharya, Adi Shankaracharya. So, Krishna bless you. If anybody has any question, please let me know.
Thank you, Maharaj, for guiding us. And for the pleasure of Prabhupada, just I want to tell everybody that this same Gita Gyan program, which created by Sakarnagar, our coordinator Jagannath Prabhu and his team, is I think Jagannath Prabhu is in about five countries, or how many countries we are having this same program, Gita Gyan? Anadi Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna Prabhu. Looks like Prabhu got dropped off due to network issue. Just wait.
Okay. Okay. I think how many Shri Prabhu can
Oh,
Malaysia, London?
I think I was unmute. I couldn't unmute myself. Sorry.
Yeah, sorry,
Okay.
Sorry. Yes, but we are in now in 5 countries.
5 countries. And Delhi also, I think Punjabi Bhag took this program.
For children's program.
For children, as a children program, they took Bhagavad Gita. Okay. Maharaj, this 5 countries having same program, so they can have this. And Adi Prabhu, our Sakarnagar unit has sent to 5 countries, and they are successfully conducting a canon there. And
Good. You can increase to 50 more countries, Prabhu.
With your blessings, Maharaj. for
your
sure.
blessing, it will be happen, Maharaj. It will be.
And call me anytime you want.
Thank you, Maharaj.
Thank you, Maharaj. That's Maharaj, a little blessings for all the teachers, Maharaj, so that they all can preach the glories like you said, Maharaj.
They are already blessed, and they will make more and more progress in upper ranks of devotional service.
Thank you, Maharaj. Maharaj, I had a question though. Maharaj, sometimes devotees come up to me and they say that today I have taken some non-veg, or today I have done this. So I don't want to read the Bhagavad Gita today. I'll keep it for some other day. And I don't want, same thing they say for chanting and the same thing they say for reading Bhagavad Gita. Can you please help us what should be our understanding on that?
Right. See, there are no excuses allowed as far as spiritual life is concerned. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu was so much magnanimous that even Srila Prabhupada is more magnanimous than Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. He wanted Chaitanya
Maharaj, you unmute, Maharaj.
Prabhupada is so merciful that he ordered his early disciples to make a factory in Vrindavan to produce Gaur-Nitai deities and let them worship even though they are meat eaters. It is the mercy of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and Nityananda Prabhu who delivered Jagai and Madhai, and everybody is like Jagai and Madhai in Kali Yuga. So he became more merciful at the request of Nityananda Prabhu to deliver anybody and everybody, whether they are meat eaters or vegetarians. Prabhupada would comment, even pigeons are vegetarian, but they are obsessed in bodily conception of life. Why? Because they have sex 50 times a day. What big is a concern? Prabhu, if you are a meat eater, your consciousness will be still clear if you chant Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna Mahamantra, if you think sensitively, that it will be only offended if you become a spiritual So the idea is that there should be enough patience for a preacher to keep on encouraging that how long you are going to make your stomach a grave for dead animals. There are great thinkers who also, they were not Krishna conscious yet. They were like Abraham Lincoln, and we have so many quotes. And where does anybody get permission to eat non-veg? It's a whole subject matter. And neither Bible nor Quran recommends It is told on other way. I have clippings that one of the hadith and Quran is that the Lord is not pleased by the offerings of flesh or blood, but only thy virtuous deeds. And that is what they call kurbani, is a virtuous deed. But is their understanding correct? No. So it becomes a kind of, a blind faith. They think a virtuous deed is to give somebody else's kurbani, not his own kurbani. Even in Bible, instead of meat, it was fruit, the word in original Greek Bible. But we know the history of interpolation, misinterpreting. Louis VI, he was the king of France, but he was avid meat eater. And the apostles, Saint Augustine went and to convert him, so the whole country can be converted. He says, I can only accept Bible on my own interpretations. So he changed the word fruit to be meat and make everything topsy-turvy. There's a long history, and some of our intellectual devotees who are who have studied Judaism, Christianity, Islam, they have come up with all this, topsy-turvy thinking that was introduced later. So the idea is that we should not be discouraged. Rather, we should instantaneously, keep the presence of the Lord or chanting of Hare Krishna Mahamantra at that time, very sincerely. So there will be desired effect. However, we should chant offenselessly. So the effect can be expedited, and the person will definitely change his heart. Otherwise, everything is an excuse. An excuse means unwillingness to say, oh, you can't force me, my Lord. He is the ultimate force, and you are already under the force of an opposite nature, that is Lord's own creation. And you want to escape and become independent under the spell of Maya. It's a joke. You are already under Maya. The mode of ignorance is dictating you to choose what you want to eat. And tell him in Bhagavad Gita, there are 3 types of ahar. It's, I think, 16th chapter. So the point is that Krishna consciousness should not be restricted to anybody and everybody. It is just like that even a non-believer can also listen to chanting Hare Krishna on the street. We have our rights and privileges in other countries also to practice our own religion. And they respect, and they also join. Otherwise, how could Srila Prabhupada got more results, better results than he got from India itself? India is full of Mayavad, full of this nonsensical dealings. So we should not be disappointed. Rather, we have a very big task in front of us to show our sincerity, become friends, but you do not associate with their modes. Give your association as far as Krishna consciousness is concerned and be friendly, that's all. But you don't accept anything from them except the one which is offered in the mode of goodness, and that is fruits. And also uncut fruits. Take the whole fruit from them, but do not eat cooked food or anything. It is to ensure that the devotees protect themselves by remaining in mode of goodness. But those who are meat eaters or the excusers, then what is their friendship going to value? Rather, we give our friendship to them more and request them that these are the repercussions, and you cannot become a part-time devotee, just like you cannot run your entire affairs on part-time jobs. Good?
Thank you, Maharaj.